ESO's housing isn't just a feature, it's a whole universe players have built together, from a cozy tavern to a massive castle to full on player experiences. Housing has become one of the most creative and personal parts of the entire game, and today we're going to dive into why ESO housing is so special, how it evolved, and why the community loves it so much. Welcome back to the Tamriel Report, your in-game ESO podcast, where we slow things down and talk about the bigger conversations happening across the community. And today's topic is one of the most beloved systems in the entire game: housing. Whether you're a decorator, a builder, a role player, or someone who just likes to have a place that's cozy to log out every day, ESO's housing has something for everyone. And when it comes to housing, when it first released with the Homestead update, I was interested in it. But at that time, I did not really expect to spend the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours I have spent in game decorating, finding furnishing plans, and all of that. I just did not see that happening for me personally. I think that's kind of the same for a lot of people out there. I know there's still some players that don't really get into housing, and that's fine because ESO has tons of different things for you to do. So housing is not something that you have to do. But I have noticed over the years a lot of people kind of were like me. They didn't expect to enjoy it, but they really got into it and started really enjoying it. The Homestead update was a simple idea that quickly became something a lot bigger. At first, it was just a handful of homes, a basic editor, and a small selection of furnishings. But even then, players immediately started seeing the potential. People started creating things kind of from the get-go. It wasn't just about decorating a room, it's really about creating a space that felt like it was something kind of personal to you. And one of the reasons housing kind of stands out is the freedom it gives you. There's no grind to it. And I think that's kind of what sucked me in at the time. Is when I started messing with it, started kind of going out and finding furnishing recipes and stuff like that. I just kind of realized, hey, this is something I can do just to relax. I don't have to worry about anything. And it just kind of became my daily routine. I would go in, I would, of course, do my writs and things on all my characters, and then I would just start decorating different houses, making different types of furniture, trying different things. And that kind of turned into something I did for years. I mean, there was times I felt like over, a 2 or 3 year span that I did not touch anything else in the game. It was kind of crazy how much I enjoyed it. And it kind of reminded me of when I first started playing Minecraft. When I first started playing Minecraft years and years ago, I didn't really expect to like it as much. But once I got into kind of building and making farms and things like that, I know everyone plays every game differently. That was just kind of something that I enjoyed. It was very relaxing. And that's kind of what housing reminded me of. There's not really any strict placement rules. Now, you do have some areas that are out of bounds, but that's another thing that I think a lot of players like. There's a lot of freedom because you have small homes, medium homes, large homes. You have places you can buy that are just kind of areas, like a particular piece of land that does not have a house there, and you can make whatever you want, in that area. So you can be very creative. And that, to me, really kind of started setting housing apart from what it was when it first released. I will say, I think, at least from everything that I have experienced myself on the PC side compared to the console side, and you all know that I play mainly here on console on the channel, I do feel like editing is a bit easier on PC than it is compared to console. I hope in the future, with all the housing changes we've had over the years, that the editor at some point gets a bit of a kind of pass over to make editing a bit easier for all players, no matter what platform you're on. But that's not really a complaint. That's just something that I would like to see to improve the experience even more. There's not a lot of other MMOs out there that have a housing system like ESO. Now, we know they have added a housing system into World of Warcraft. That was something that a lot of players there wanted. But it shows you that no matter the game, if it comes to kind of like an MMO or an RPG, there's a lot of games out there that offer this type of system. But for some reason, to me anyway, ESOs has always felt very unique. I mean, players have built things that are absolutely insane. I mean, their own custom builds are really getting just kind of wild now compared to what they were to begin with. And players have done amazing jobs with making different types of things like guild halls, just your regular, kind of based themed taverns, fully functional stores where they sell, furniture and stuff inside of the game. And some players have gone even further than that, and I'm sure if any of you have done the housing tours inside of the game, you've seen some insane stuff. I saw one recently on PlayStation that was an actual UFO that you could go up into, and it looked absolutely amazing. Housing is not just decorating now, it's turned into more of a creation of whatever you want it to be for whatever you're wanting to do, and that is pretty amazing. Now, one of the biggest things, in my opinion, that really changed the housing game was the new home tour menu. Now, this is going to kind of be the spotlight feature for the week, because this is something that I highly recommend. If you did not know it existed or you have never looked at it, I really recommend you go into the home tour menu and check out a lot of these houses that are in game right now. The system completely changes how players have discovered, how they can share, and how they can explore homes in ESO. For the first time, you can browse player homes directly from the in-game menu. You can go in there and set it to different kind of settings depending on what you want to see. They have featured homes, they have popular builds, they have like creative showcases, they have things that are under construction, community favorites. You have a lot of homes that are seasonal themed. You have just different types of home tours you can take. And this kind of gives you some inspiration, but also at the same time, you can see what the community has been up to. And like I said, I have been seeing some insane home designs or complete, builds from the ground up on PlayStation as of late. They are absolutely amazing to look at. And this also gives people that go out and build these the visibility that really they deserve, because in the past, the only time we really got to see different types of homes would be if someone on YouTube, does home tours. Jay Hart is one of the best ones in my opinion, but of course he does that for PC. So you get to see some great homes being built on PC. Sometimes you will see the featured page for the ESO website will have some different homes. They'll have housing contests and stuff like that. But adding this into the game actually allows players to see and explore all of these different things out there, whether it's just a normal, just really great decorating job that someone has done, or like I said, something that has been built from the ground up. And for players who love to kind of explore the endless inspiration of housing, this is one of the most community-friendly additions ESO has made when it comes to housing, in my opinion. And honestly, the community is what makes housing shine. ESO has some of the most talented builders when it comes to designing homes in any MMO that I have seen. I've played a lot of different games with housing and housing design, but inside of ESO, you see some really incredible stuff. A lot of people in ESO treat housing kind of like an art form now. People who spend hours and hours and hours crafting tiny little details to make it look absolutely perfect. They have a lot more patience than I do. Sadly, my houses usually, I just go in and decorate them however I want. I'm not creative enough to make up some of the stuff that some players have out there. People really are starting to build spaces that tell stories now. And that's how, to me, housing has evolved since it was first introduced into the game. There's housing guilds now. There's contests, there's showcases, there's tours, and there's entire communities dedicated to helping players even learn, build, and share their creations. You see people talking about this on social media, on Reddit. There's a big housing forum. Even on the ESO forums itself, they have a housing section. But in game, there's tons of guilds that just deal with housing stuff. And they even have their own guild trader, and they just sell housing furniture. I mean, they're definitely housing enthusiasts, because that is all they really deal with. And it is amazing to see some of these people's creations. Of course, it is great if you're looking for your own furnishing plans, maybe some furnishings that you want to go pick up. You can go to some of these guild traders and buy some stuff that you may not necessarily have. Also, some of these guilds have great guild stores where they sell furniture. And it's just a very supportive kind of community within ESO. I mean, there's a lot of different communities in the game. The game is one entire community, of course, but it's broken up into a lot of different communities. You have people that enjoy dungeons, trials, PvE, PvP, role-playing. Then you have this your own section over here that has turned into just kind of the housing enthusiast, and that is what they do all the time in game, and that is absolutely amazing in my opinion. Since the Homestead update, housing has grown massively. We've gotten, of course, more homes, more furnishing categories, more building blocks, just of how you can make things just overall. We've got performance improvements, of course, the recent furnishing cap changes to the houses in general. They kind of upgraded the furnishing cap for the size of the home. I know everyone out there is still wanting a kind of total overhaul of the furnishing cap, and hopefully we will get that at some point. We have better tools now in the housing editor than we did from the get-go, and really more ways to earn furnishings in game. And that's a great thing as well, where you have events or you have something in the antiquity system. There's a lot of cool ways to earn some very interesting furnishings just from playing the game. You don't have to go to the Crown store and buy these items. Now, there's some great items in the Crown store, of course, for housing and things like that. But you're not forced to buy those items. You can get tons and tons of great items from blueprints, from just items you can get, like I said, from antiquities and events in general. Housing has really evolved into a fully creative style sandbox. And one of the strengths of ESO's housing is the variety of ways that you can get homes and get, of course, furnishings for those homes. Like I said, you can buy them with crowns, but the great thing is a lot of really nice homes in game you can get through buying them with gold or achievements, or even going throughout the year and getting them with your old event tickets or your gold bars now at the end of the year. We've gotten a lot of homes that way. They've done things where there are community events in game and they give away homes, so you can really get a lot of different houses without having to pay for them in the Crown store, because as we all know, they are pretty expensive. And of course, I know not everyone out there can afford them. So there's a lot of great ways to still get really good homes in game without ever having to spend any money whatsoever. Another great thing, of course, is you can craft furnishings. Like I said, earn them, buy them, or unlock them through gameplay. Now, the Crown Store homes, I do know a lot of people like, because they're usually the massive, flashy ones. The mansions, the estates, the themed kind of houses. But in my opinion, some of the best homes in the game are the ones that you can purchase with gold or unlock through achievements or things we get just throughout the year, during the events. And don't forget about the luxury vendor. If you've never been to the luxury vendor, he comes every Friday in Cold Harbor, and it's 7 p.m. Central Time for me here in the United States. You'll have to kind of figure that out depending on where you live. But the luxury vendor offers tons of different furnishing items, of course, that you can only get from that luxury vendor, or you may find them in guild traders if people decide to buy them and sell them. There's some really great items there. So if you're a new person in kind of getting into housing, I would recommend the luxury vendor. And if you're like myself, you'll probably find that's where you spend a lot of your gold every single week. The best thing about the last several updates we've had, especially with update 49, we've seen some great quality of life improvements for housing. And it seems like the community is really enjoying those improvements. Like I said, the biggest improvement that I would like to see would really be kind of to the build editor itself. Just a few minor touch-ups there, and I think it would be even better than it already is. Housing is a very personal thing in ESO. It's where players express themselves. It's where the kind of build becomes whatever it's going to be. It's where they create spaces that feel like home or whatever they want their home to be. Some players build cozy hideaways, others build massive, insane showcases. Some build tributes to friends, guildmates, or moments even inside their own ESO journey. Homes have become creative outlets inside of ESO like we never had before. Even storytelling tools, community hubs to have guild halls, and really kind of personal things for each individual that decides to go in and decorate or create anything in the ESO housing ecosystem. I think housing is a very unique, fun thing, and that is why it resonates so deeply within the ESO community. It stands out because it gives players freedom. It gives players tools that you may not have in other games, or that may not be as good in other games. It gives them a space to create. It gives them a community that they can celebrate their creativity with. It's one of the most unique things and long-lasting systems if you think about how long we've had housing in the game now. And it's something that I think is probably one of the most unique things we have in the entire game. In the next episode, we're going to dive into something that's quietly one of the biggest wins in ESO we've had in the last several years. And that is the simultaneous launches of updates for PC and console players. We're now finally getting updates at the same time. This has changed the entire rhythm of the community. No more spoilers, no more waiting weeks if you're on console like myself. No more kind of split up conversations. It unified the player base, protects new story content, and brings everyone into the new experiences together. We're going to break down why this matters more than people actually realize. Thanks for listening to episode 5 of the Tamriel Report. Leave me some of your favorite homes, furnishings, whatever. It does not matter. If you enjoy housing, just let me know down in the comments. And of course, if you like the video, hit the like. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.